In a world where fairways meet the airwaves, where birdies and banker collide, welcome to the show that takes you beyond the clubhouse and onto the green. This is Balls and Tees, your passport to the golfing universe, where every swing tells a story and every putt has its punchline. Get ready to step onto the lush greens and dive into the world of divots, drives, and delightful banter.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is the one and only Tony Tone, the magician, the boy with a lot of flair. And yes, I am a classic man. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited to be here again. It is a Wednesday evening, and I can tell you, Pretoria is in good spirits. I love the energy, I love what's happening outside. People are happy because it has just stopped raining and the sun is out. Everybody is out to have a good time, and I can definitely reassure you that golfers are probably out there on the golf courses doing what they love the most. Ladies and gentlemen, today I don't want to lie to you. You definitely need, listen to me, you don't just need an ice cold glass of water. You need to put ice cubes inside of it because it's about to get so hot. We experienced the cloudy season. Now this week we are about to experience a lot of heat. It's like the sun has been pulled closer to us because we've got a guest who's on fire. This man is making waves on the golf course. This man is doing things out there, and you will know who it is once we come back from our 2 minute break. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go for that 2 minute break. Make sure that you get that ice cold glass of water as well as ice cubes on top. Then, when we come back, you will see what I'm talking about.
In a world where fairways meet the airwaves, where birdies and banker collide, welcome to the show that takes you beyond the clubhouse and onto the green. This is Balls and Tees, your passport to the golfing universe, where every swing tells a story and every putt has its punchline. Get ready to step onto the lush greens and dive into the world of divots, drives, and delightful banter.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying tuned. As you know, this is the one and because you don't want to miss. It is Balls and Tees, and I can tell you we are international. For those who are tuning in at the moment from wherever you are in the world, listen, I'm so excited, and I just want to say grateful because without you, there's no us. And continue doing what you got to do, continue supporting our movement. Make sure that Balls and Tees carries the legacy. So, ladies and gentlemen, I promised you something. I promised you that the show is going to be extremely hot today. I hope you have made sure that you've got that ice cold glass of water with ice cubes inside because our guest is none but the only Mr. OG Molefe. Mr. Molefe,
Tone, how you doing, my brother?
how are you, sir?
No, me, I'm extremely blessed. I'm good, my brother. Can't complain much. When
No. I can't complain on my side. I'm excited that you joined us today. So if you were to ask me how I am, you must see my face. Smile from ear to ear.
nah, I'm glad I can actually hear it through your voice. So that's dope.
Yeah, 100%. So, Mr. OG, I tried to introduce you, but I
Yeah.
mean, the little that I did, I didn't even hear drum rolls. So, hopefully, if you reintroduce yourself, everybody out there will understand who OG Molefe is. How did OG get into golf, and what's happening in your space at the moment, sir?
Sure. Yeah. I don't even know where to begin, man. But I was thinking about it the other day. That I've kind of grown up with golf pretty much most of my life because my uncle used to be a caddy back in the day,
Mm,
and when we were
mhm,
kids, he used to take myself and my cousins to the driving range. And at the time, I mean, we would just mess around, just hitting golf balls, not really with any aim of
mm,
anything, not even like, so we were pretty much sort
yeah.
of self-taught in how we even swung a club. And we were obviously swinging my uncle's clubs, which were way too heavy for us. But as the years went by, my cousins kind of fell away. They love football more than golf. I do too. It's still
Yeah.
my number one passion. But I kind of kept on playing, you know. So my uncle and I would
Mm-hmm.
spend quite a lot of time playing at Krugersdorp Golf Club, which is where we were members. Um, and yeah, man, the bug, you know, sort of bit and caught when I was very young, and somewhere along the road, I kind of like, especially going to tertiary, I kind of stopped playing, but sort of, you know, rekindled my love for the game. I think once I started working and could afford to buy my own clubs again.
100%. And you know, I like the fact that you're mentioning that when you go to tertiary, you sort of took a step back, and I want to. It's something that's very intriguing to me to say. Why is it that often enough, when we get to that stage of our lives, we just decide, you know what, sports can wait a bit. Let me focus on this thing instead of juggling the two.
You know what? I always, and I think because I've had years to kind of think about it, people who went to high school with me will always tell you that at some point I thought my career path would be to become a professional golfer. But in
Mm,
retrospect, I realized that I didn't have the necessary knowledge, neither did my parents or my uncle have the necessary knowledge of how to actually get me on that path. So at no point did I have a
mm,
coach, at no point did I play amateur events across the country on any circuit. All I enjoyed was
mm,
playing and beating the old people and having some money like on a Sunday competition, you know. So if somebody if somebody had said, "Eish, mara mntwana na like hona le something," and then had kind of put me on a path where there's a bit of structure and there's a way to get to that goal, I think it might have been different. So I give it a
mm,
tricky. Even then, I didn't know what I was going to do. I ended up, studying information technology because at the time, somebody was like, "Hey, man, if you want to make money, yada, that's where the money's going to be," you know.
yeah.
And I did
Mm-hmm,
that and went to study that, but it was never really a passion of mine, you know. So I never really stuck around. I finished school, but I worked for a little bit and realized, "Hold on, this is not really what I want to do." So I think got tertiary, I kind of not even fell out of love le golf. It's just
mm-hmm,
that now you find other things. You're making new friends. You got obviously school to think about. Now you've moved out of home. So look where high
mm,
where my clubs were. You know, it wasn't an every weekend thing. So and I think over time you kind of forget about playing golf.
mm, mm. No, no, no. I hear you, but I like the fact that you taught your elders lessons on Sundays.
I never sampa they knew.
Here comes danger.
They knew.
Yeah. But tell me, OG. I mean, playing for so long, ne?
Mhm.
And getting to meet different people, getting to play different courses, like you said, Sunday competitions and all of those. I want to ask you, what happens now when you get on the golf course? When you get on the first tee, what thoughts actually go through your mind? Do you still have the same kind of feeling that you had when you were starting? Do you still have the same kind of feeling that you had when you got back into the game after tertiary, or is it more like, okay, now it's just a casual thing? You know what, I'm used to this thing, I know I'm gonna hit this ball so long and so straight.
Yeah. You know, like there's friends of mine that I play regularly with who are actually frustrated by my game because they know and
Mm,
have seen when I put together a low round and they're like, "Yes, Joe, how are you not shooting in the low 70s all the time?" And I always say, I reached the point where I kind of stopped being hard on myself when I play like a bad round or even a bad shot,
mm,
you know. There's a
mm,
friend of mine, Craig Rodney. One like he used to play together in Joburg. Then he moved down to Cape Town, and then one day he said he was playing, and he was a really good golfer, like down to like a 2 handicap.
mm,
And he said he played with this guy
mm,
who happened to be a psychologist, and Craig
yeah,
just got so hard on himself because he knows he's a really good golfer. And the guy was like, my
Mm-hmm.
man, think about it this way. Like, you play this game socially. You don't get paid to play. You're
Mm-hmm.
not a professional. So why do you even get hard on yourself? Firstly, do you even like spend days at the driving range? Like, for me, when I think about going to the driving range now, I'd rather go play. So I now
Yeah.
accept that when I hit a bad shot, it's because I haven't really prepped to the level of where I know I can play. And I think
Mm.
I've got such an understanding of my swing to the point where I don't get shocked when I shoot a low round, and when I shoot a bad one, I don't get down on myself. So I enjoy the game a lot more. So even if I were to shank a ball, before I'd be like, yes, this now you're walking to the next shot and you're thinking about that. Now I really let it go. I'm like, I'm blessed to play this game. I'm blessed to play some of the best golf courses around. Like, why must I be hard on myself? Because
Mm.
I'm not a pro, you know. So even, and the cool thing also
Yeah.
about now working on tour is that I see the pros hitting bad shots, and these guys spend almost every
Yeah.
waking day of their lives practicing for this game. So if those guys can have a bad shot, nakimang, like, to even be hard on myself when I don't
Mm.
even practice, you know. So now when I step on the tee, I literally enjoy it, man. So yeah, I never know, and it will determine the rest of my round. Like, I might stripe one down the middle, and it's like, oh man, this is going to be a good day. And sometimes it doesn't even turn out to that. Or I might push one
Yeah.
right or hit a little snap hook, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be a long day. And then for all you know, I end up turning level or something like that, you know. So I've learned to not to be too hard on myself when I
Yeah.
play this game now. Yeah.
No, 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 100%. Now, I mean, you mentioned that at the moment it's not about being hard on yourself, but the key question here is, do you still get nervous when you play in competitions, or let's say competitive games? Do you get nervous, and how do you actually settle your nerves? I mean, every single player has their own routines to say, okay, before you get into this thing, I'm just gonna focus on my putting and then push everything out of my mind. Some would say, listen, when I address the ball, I will just take the club, grip it, do multiple practice swings. So how do you actually exercise the thought of getting rid of your nerves?
Man, like, I think the nerves are always there. After traveling for a long time, like, I hadn't played club champs for quite a long time. So last year, I got an opportunity because I had a window that weekend. So I played club champs, and it was crazy
Mm,
how nervous I got. But it's because you know what is at stake. You know, like there,
yeah.
literally every shot counts. You know, and
Hmm.
and it's hard to control those nerves when you also haven't, like I said, you haven't practiced, you haven't really, you know, knuckled down on how to handle them. So for me, I often find when I actually don't overthink this game is when I actually play my best. So even when I feel them,
Mm,
I most often don't even hit a practice shot because I think I want to replicate that, and then I don't quite do it. So especially on the first tee, I will
mm,
literally peg it up, loosen myself, and then just smash it,
mm,
depending what swing. Hopefully, if I'm loose enough, it becomes a good one. You know, that way. But
yeah.
I also thrive on making people say, "Wow, they out here sharp ball." So for me, first,
It,
when there's
it
people
feels
on the
good.
tee box, yeah, when I'm on the tee box, I actually get excited more than nervous. I'm like, hey, trying to give out 130 minutes or a Joe. Like, I can actually hit a ball, you know? Uh, so that kind of settles the nerves. I get a little bit cocky. And if I hit a bad one, I mean, it's not all the
Mm,
time that I'll stripe it, but I actually feed off that nervous energy. And I know if I don't do too much, don't overthink it, and if everything is aligned, I've really placed the ball exactly where it should be. My swing is so repetitive. Like, there's nothing that changes in my swing for years now. So I know if
mm,
I just pick it up and then swing the club, if I'm loose enough, I know it's going to be good.
mm. No, 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 I like your confidence. I wish I was like you, because you see, the thing with me is that whenever I'm on the tee box, I actually like being last because I want to see, okay, what's happening? What's this guy going to do? And then if they all hit good shots, then I know, okay,
Yeah.
I'm in the right place, because I feed off that energy to say, okay, now
Ah.
now the rhythm is getting back. And then but I still do those practice swings. And like you said, if you do a practice swing, you want to replicate it, and sometimes it doesn't work the way that you want. So
Yeah.
yeah, I start beating myself.
I know very well. So not for another, the opposite is I hope I set like a good precedent so that they see. But more than anything, I hope it puts them under
Mm,
pressure to say, "Hey, yeah, he's hit one," you know. But obviously, if I push it right, they're
yeah.
like, oh, Remontsero, vandaag. But yeah, so I like to be the first
Mm.
one up and just get it out the way.
All right. Now let's talk about the rest of the game, like the entire course management, right?
Mhm.
Uh, what is your ideal approach, or what do you think is an ideal approach overall when getting into the game itself? To say, okay, this is a round of golf. I'm gonna play an 18. Do you go aggressively from the get go, or would it depend on, like you said, what's at stake? Or do you just play the same type of game over and over again with the mindset of saying, this is the way I play, and I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on myself just to try to achieve something better than what I'm used to?
Yeah, I think it also depends on the game. Like if it's a social round, I probably
Mm,
don't map. I think I play a lot of my golf because I'm a member at Johannesburg. I play there, ne? So like there's
yeah.
holes where I know, for instance, that you can get around without hitting a driver. Like the first hole is a shortish par five. So if you hit a good driver, you can get there in two. But if you actually tee off with a four iron and you hit a layup with an eight, you're gonna have like a sandwich in.
Mm,
And the number of times that I'm like, when I get to that course today, that's what I'm gonna do. Just hit a four iron. And then I'll feature like but
mm,
driver. You're like, I actually now forget the four iron. Let me pull out the driver. you know. So even my own
yeah.
plans for the most part go up. And there's a lot of holes there where I know like you do not necessarily have to hit driver. But also what then
Mm,
I think about sometimes when I get on the box, I'm like, okay, I did think about how I'm gonna actually play this hole, but let me actually see
mm,
what is my shape for today with the driver. Now, if I push it right, I
yeah.
don't mind because I can play for that and just aim a little bit left. But if I start to hit the snap
Yeah.
hook, then I know I'm gonna leave the driver and I'm hit through it all day. So even though sometimes
Hmm.
I think I'm not gonna start off with the driver, it kind of tells me what sort of short shape I'm gonna be playing for the day. And if I do that for two drives in a row
Mm,
and it's not what I want, I often just put it back
yeah.
because if you just force it the entire time, by the time you wake up, it's hard if you can't find the fairways because now you're literally bringing the
Mm,
bogeys and the doubles into play. So the one thing I've learned, like following and playing with a lot of pros, is that try to limit the damage as much as possible. So if you think Honale
hmm.
gapping and there really isn't a gap, sometimes there's nothing wrong with punching the ball out sideways. You might hit a
Yeah.
brilliant third shot, get yourself close and walk off with
Hmm.
a par. At worst, you come up with a bogey. No, Orto Foster, Shapas Clare, the ball comes back. Now you're staring at a double and a triple bogey. Unnecessarily,
Yeah.
So sometimes I think as amateurs, we need to learn to kind of take the medicine a lot more than we do.
Mm. But tell me, since you mentioned Tawayao Shapas Klare, do you regularly have these what if moments to say, Ish, if I had done this, if I had hit this club, do you regularly have those, or is it just once in a long while that it happens?
Nah, I think every golfer does. I think, like, especially if you play coastal golf, because for us, like,
Mm,
it's completely different, like playing up here in Gauteng. So there you kind
mm,
of question yourself a lot because you might under club, you might over club, and then you think about, ish,
mm,
maybe I should have just hit this iron or that other iron. Um, but generally, like, and it's also like because I'm friends with a lot of like professional caddies, you start to think about just safety on a golf course. So you
mm,
don't necessarily have to go for every pin. You don't necessarily have to be like to attack everything. If you can tell,
mhm,
this pin has been tucked front right, and there's definitely like a penalty area on the right. There's a bunker that if you go in, you're gonna short side yourself. There's nothing wrong
mm,
with going for the middle of the green. You might sink a long one, or you two putt for a par. So
yeah.
that's if there's one thing that's changed over the last few years for me, it's that to say like miss on the right side. You know what I mean? So even if
Yeah.
if the pin is at the back, or even if it's front, right? Like I will now think, what is the number I need to cover all the problems? So if there's water, if I have to
Yeah.
go over water, what is the club that will make it safely over there? And then I must that will be the base. But if now the pin is way at the back, that means I must just take an extra one, you know. So I
Yeah.
think safety first is kind of what I've kind of tried to do over the last couple of years. So try to just take all the danger out of play. Then it makes the game. I mean, it's not an easy game, but it just helps you out with a
Yeah.
bit more.
No, that's 100% true. You know, OG, I heard you saying something about a par five, and no, you know, I didn't want to ask this question, but it seems like you don't just hit that ball, you destroy it. So
Mm,
you mentioned a 4 iron and an 8 iron to lay up
yeah.
on a par five. So how long do you hit your 4 iron?
No, and this is the thing, right? So I'm not a long driver by any stretch of the
Mm.
imagination. I think I play with some gorillas, like some of my friends hit a stupid ball. Um, but I know if I hit my 4 iron properly, I can hit it 200 meters, you know. And if I hit it properly, I go dead straight.
Sure.
I find the target and I hit that 4 iron. If I catch it properly, it will go 200. So if think about it, I think that it could be like
Yeah.
450, 460. So if I've covered that initial 200, I've got 260 to go.
Yeah.
And then if I play a 160 shot, I leave myself 100 in. So I haven't touched the driver, but I've still got myself
Yeah.
on the green in regulation, you know. And so sometimes that's what we think, like, oh, it's like a sharp driver and I need to hit it like 280, 300. Where if you get yourself in
Yeah.
play, and the one thing for me, like my favorite club in my bag is my hybrid 3. And I can literally control the distance anywhere from say 200 to 220. Maybe if I really squeeze it like 225, 230. But I know I can comfortably hit it 220. So if I'm in play and then
Yeah.
and it's a shortish par five and all I need to cover is like 200 or 220, then I can pull out the hybrid. But and I say all these things, ne? But in the heat of
Yeah.
the moment, sometimes I just pull out driver and then just mess it up anyway. But ideally, I know that if it's 4 iron, I can at least get to 200 meters, which is on most holes, you're kind of like halfway there. It just doesn't help you that much if it's a par four, because if it's 100,
Yeah.
it's 402. So if it's 420 now, I've left myself a 220 shot coming in. But the likelihood that I will squeeze
Yeah.
that hybrid perfectly is probably 5 out of 10 times. So if I can leave myself anywhere between my mid irons to my wedges, that's gold. But yeah, like I get you in the ideal situation, that's what I should do. But for the most part, I sometimes I drive and but yeah, so I don't hit it long, but I can hit my 4 iron 200 meters.
You just like that sound that goes ting
Yes, I
because
say
it intimidates everyone.
no, it's a game. You know when the ball strike is so pure. Kore le motho o shapang after a wa utlwa gore yar. No, ke mo mathateng.
No, 100%. Now, I want to ask you something, and you'll excuse me for asking this because you sound like someone who understands exactly what club they hit to what distance and how you manage them. Would you mind taking us through your golf bag to say, okay, these are the clubs I regularly have in my golf bag, and then yes, so these are the ones that nothing can ever stop me.
Yeah, for sure. So I've got in my bag, so I've got a full Titleist bag. So I've got a GT3 driver, 11-degree loft, and like get short, I'm not a long driver, so I can hit it like 250, 260, you know, comfortably. So and then that's cool. Then Then I've got a
Yeah.
3-wood in the bag as well. The 3-wood, and at times, if I really catch it, I can hit the 3-wood as long as my driver. But generally, I can hit it like 240, and then I'm comfortable got it through
Oh.
it. My hybrid, like I said, is my favorite club in my bag because
Yeah.
I know, I hardly miss. Like unless if I hit it badly, it means I just didn't commit to the swing, and that's usually what happens. But if I commit to it, like 9 out of 10 times, it's gonna come out pure. So the Hybrid 3 is a TSR. I should be probably fitting into a Titleist GT Hybrid sometime soon when we get some time. And then in my irons, I've got from pitching wedge to a 4-iron. I've got T150 Titleist irons. Yeah, so I mean, my wedges are Voki wedges. So I've got a 60 degree, I've got a 54 degree, and a 48 degree gap wedge as well, and a Scotty Cameron 7.5 putter. So my putter 34 inches. I just cut it from 35 to 34. It's lethal. Yeah. When it's on song, I box everything.
Yeah.
Like I just like the line angle on it.
Yeah.
And it's mean. Hey, that patterns mean. It's a shelter about. So the one thing, even though I
Yeah.
don't practice a lot, the one thing when we go on tour, what I now try to do is at least take my wedges and my putter. So just from around the green, if you can save your shots with your short game, that's where like
Yeah.
I think that's where the money maker really is. Like I'm not gonna pure my irons all the time. So I might find myself somewhere just around the green. So what I'll do, like when we do have a gap in between tournaments, maybe for like 30 minutes, I'll just go chip. And also like the fortunate thing about working with like on tour is that you might find a pro or break the song and then they see you doing something, they'll be like, why don't you try this? And then you try it and then it works. I played a practice round, 100 brainers, go over, and he literally made me change one small thing, and now like my chipping is like so good. I'm happy with where it's at because I know now my distance control around the greens. I can either lob it up or I can pitch and run it. And that just comes with pure practice. I think I could go back to like I can play Maro or sub practice. Like if you can, practice definitely makes you better. So because I can't spend a lot of time doing it, when I find a gap, I'd rather focus on the short game. So the putting stroke, Neil Skillicat helped me out with the putting stroke. That's why Gito, like if I do the basics that he showed me and I've read it correctly and can figure out the pace of the greens, like I'll make the putts. And generally, that's my entire bag pretty much.
No, fantastic. And like you said, you ran into a pro, and then he just gave you a small tip. But I just want to find out for someone who spends a lot of time on how imperative is it to practice? How often do you practice? And is it just a physical kind of practice, or is there like mental coaching and all those things?
Look, I mean, for us as amateurs, unless I don't know you really taking the game seriously, like you'll hardly ever see us going to see a mental coach. But let's talk from a professional player's point of view. I think these days you're finding the big guys on say the Live Tour, PGA Tour, DP World Tour have an entire team around them. So they'll have a guy who's the physical trainer. They'll actually have a masseuse with them. They'll have the golf coach in the team. They'll have a mental coach in the team. The really big boys will have someone who takes care of nutrition as well. And so when they really say these days, hey, I travel with my team, that it's generally those people that are with them. And it makes sense because you think about it from a physical standpoint. I think, ever since guys like Vijay Singh and Tiger Woods showed people like you can actually train and become strong to play the game. The generation now compared to the older guys, you find them a lot in the gym. And there's golf specific training, which is why these days you're finding a lot of guys, even personal trainers who are just specifically golf trainers. So they will help you work the necessary muscles for your swing. So o ka se fela o lo kopana le motho ko Planet Fitness and o kukise ditshipi one way, can't it's actually messing up with your swing. You know, so
Yeah.
so don't just go there, ulo somebody bench press and think I'm gonna hit it 330. And so those guys literally have their entire team sort of looking after them. As an amateur, I think if you really want to get good, you have to practice. Like if you want to take yourself from a double-digit handicap to a single handicap, and there's yes, playing rounds of golf is going to happen. I mean, I've been in schools for the last 5 years. He's been an 18 and a 19 handicap over 5 years. And you think, Joe, you play golf every single week, like. At what point do
What's going
you
on?
personally, when do you personally want to get better? And sometimes it's not bad to actually go and invest in seeing a PGA professional who can help you out. The PGA of South Africa has got some great coaches like across a lot of golf courses. You know, if we are going and maybe get a package of like, hey, Joe, can I get just 6 lessons? Because also the other problem with us is that when you're playing and you're actually practicing bad habits all the time, that's why you're not going to get better, because whatever you're doing is obviously not the right thing for you to lower your score. So if you can get a second pair of eyes that the person can be like, no, man. And especially if you can, find someone who's not completely going to overhaul your swing. At the top of your swing, your hands maybe are out of position, or when you're striking the ball, you know what I mean? Like, at least work on this one thing that will help you out. So that if you can, go see a PGA pro who can help you out with that. And then, spend time. I mean, it depends also on your flexibility, but if you can spend at least an hour in a week, practice hitting, and don't just hit balls, go driving range, because you can now shape a packet to shanka or fade but if you have found if somebody and can like work on this, so even when I do have time to go to the range, I get say so I might be like, I've actually been struggling with my driver, so I'll just take maybe a wedge, a 7-iron, and my driver. So I know I'm gonna take the wedge and the 7-iron to warm up, and then the rest of the day I'll just hit the driver until I find what I'm looking for. So instead of just running through the entire bag with like aimlessly hitting balls, that's not really gonna help you. But as amateurs, for us to get better, you absolutely have to practice. Also, like I've got a friend he's really improved, like literally gone maybe from like a 25, 24 handicapper to like a 12, you know. But to this day, he struggles to get out of a bunker. Put him in a greenside bunker, he's and I said to him, Joe, all it will take for you is literally go see someone, get the technique, and then literally spend your time at the range. Just take your lob wedge and just go hit bunker shots for an hour. You know?
True.
But if you don't practice it, and the problem, it gets to a point where he will approach a grenade that's in the bunker now, you know what I mean? Because he's like, now you're not even thinking get to the pin, you're thinking don't go in the bunker. Now you're already negatively thinking before you even hit the ball. But if you actually spend the time to go and practice those bunker shots, so even if you don't quite strike the ball as well as you would have hoped to and end up in a bunker, you're not fearing because you know you've practiced it, and so you can go and execute. So I think for amateurs, it's important for us to find someone that can look at you, try to fix you. I mean, they're never going to overhaul your entire game, but try to actually help you for you to get better. And then the better you play, the more you actually enjoy the game, to be honest.
100%. Because I mean, who wants to have constant bad days on the golf course?
No one. Oh.
No, 100%. OG, can we go for a 2-minute break? Let's get some refreshments, and then when we come back, we're still gonna drill into a lot of things relating to golf, because golf is your life and golf is balls and tees. So let's go for the 2-minute break, and then we'll come back. Let's go deeper, Papa.
Invisible Ink Consulting, your gateway to financial success. We specialise in providing the best solutions to manage your finance and accounting, ensuring a better life for you and your business. Our expert team offers top-notch accounting and tax consulting services tailored to various industries, including but not limited to engineering, medical practitioners, in construction, non-profits, events management, attorneys and financial services. Experience the power of our best analytics, backed by a commitment to our clients and a high level of knowledge. At Invisible Ink Consulting, we strive to deliver the best service you can get, making your financial journey seamless and rewarding. Choose Invisible Ink Consulting for a brighter financial future. Your success our priority. Please visit us at www.invisibleinc.co.za to reach us. www.invisibleinc.co.za.
In a world where fairways meet the airwaves, where birdies and banker collide, welcome to the show that takes you beyond the clubhouse and onto the green. This is Balls and Tees, your passport to the golfing universe, where every swing tells a story and every putt has its punchline. Get ready to step onto the last greens and dive into the world of divots, drives, and delightful banter.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying tuned in. As you know, this is Balls and Tees, the only relevant podcast there is to listen to when it comes to golf-related matter. Listen, I don't care if it's professional, if it's amateur, if it's beginner, if it's people who've never even heard of golf. This is where everything happens, and I can tell you, we are going places. We are joined by legends, and today I don't like people calling. I don't like calling people legends, but Oji Mulife is a star, guys. This man is a star, and he has given us insight in his world. And I want to say a big, big, big thank you to him because the people who've been playing golf for so long, but hey, things are not happening. I got tips today to say do something about it because it's not just about hitting the ball or playing around the putting green. I've got strong points, guys. Don't get me wrong. There's places where I know I execute, especially on the green. But certain things,
Yeah.
teka, man. Mr. Malif, are you still with me there?
No, and that's the thing, like, and you must maximize on the strong points. Mara, you also know, Jorge, if I know I'm a good putter, but let me give myself the best opportunity to then make those putts in the tadi pedi and not so save a double bogey, you know? So then fix the rest of the other stuff, and then you know, Jorge, that good putting ile I so save a 1 point. You know, sometimes you have 4 point.
Mm, no, 100%, 100%. Now, you've given us a few tips. You've let us know how your golf bag looks like, but I want to ask more in-depth questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, when one plays golf, it's either you're playing with your friends or you're playing in a competitive setting where there's a prize. Now, your approach to golf overall, if we look at the risk and the reward, which one do you usually go for? Do you go for taking those risks? Like you said, you don't want to hit a tree instead of punching the ball out, and sometimes you are actually put in a position where you just want to pull out your driver, although you plan for a 4 iron. So I'm kind of conflicted to say, which side are you falling for? Are you going for the risk or are you just going for the reward and playing it safe all the time?
And I guess it depends on the setting. So if we're playing in a pro am and we're kind of challenging, I'll probably
Mm,
take less risks because then I
mm-hmm,
can kind of knock it around to a safe spot. But also sometimes playing too safe can also be detrimental, you know. Um, if and
mm,
it also I guess it depends on the type of day you're having. I mean, if I am 2 under, 3 under after 5, 6 holes, the confidence is up. So I'm probably going to take more
mm.
risks than if I'm 3, 4 over after
Yeah.
6 holes, you know? Because now it means like I can, like I think
100%.
the swing feels groovy. So I know all I have to do is get the number, point where I want the ball to go, and I'm hitting it there. So if I know, and it also depends. So for instance, I'm a good fader of the ball, but I struggle drawing. I mean, I'm a good fader of the ball, but I struggle hitting a draw. So um, if I'm playing a dog leg left and
Yeah.
I've got a good number that I know if I can execute a draw, and I will be probably close to the pin
Mm.
to give myself a good look at a birdie. I'm not gonna take that risk because I know I don't
Mm-hmm.
confidently pull off a draw. Yabo? But if I'm on the opposite side and
Yeah.
it's a dog leg right, and I've got a little branch in front of me, and I know, just take an extra club, open it up, hit the fade. 9 out of 10 times, I know how to execute a fade. So there, I will definitely
Mm.
take the risk as compared to me having to draw the ball into maybe a
Mm.
back left pin. Yabo?
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends on the situation and what you're playing for. So
Yeah.
if it's a money game and there's
Mm-hmm.
something on the line, I'm maybe more likely to take less risks. But even if it's a money game and I'm really on it and I
Mm.
know I can pull off the shot, I'll
Mm-hmm.
definitely, the high risk is what I'll go for.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%. I've been asking so many questions about your game, ne?
Hmm.
I'm sure your competitors who are listening or people that you actually play with now they take in notes to say this is how we get him off his game, this is how we actually encourage him to play better. So let's not share too many secrets.
Yeah, I don't have a weapon. Hey, they come at me.
Yeah, no. Otolo also already know, guys, where uh, in the deep rough, that's where everything goes downhill. So let's not go into that.
Exactly.
Mm. Now, with that being said, for those who don't know, there's the OG Molefe Foundation, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so I don't know if you'd mind sharing with our audience what OG Molefe Foundation is about and what exactly you guys do there.
Yeah, no problem. So, I mean, I've been covering sport now for 21 years as a journalist.
Mm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and over that time, I've covered a lot of golf tournaments, and especially the big ones that come here at home. And generally,
Mm.
you would find, um, just before a tournament and a co-sanctioned one, they'd have like a clinic nyana for dingosi tse tswang kasi,
Mm.
and it would then be termed as golf development. Um,
Yeah.
and then the next year comes, and then the same thing is done, and they'll be like, tournament X is helping to grow the game with the clinic. And then you ask yourself,
Mm.
okay, how about from that clinic? What happens for the
Mm.
next year that is
Mm.
actually aiding the development? And for the most part, you find nothing really happens after that.
Yeah.
And it will be maybe the same kids or a different group of kids that come back the following year. But you keep asking the questions, okay, where are we really doing? Like in terms of developing and growing the game. And don't get me wrong,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of good being done by like Golf RSA, by the South African
Mm.
Golf Development Board, and
Mm.
and a bunch of us in little pockets that are just trying to grow the game. But I guess I got
Yeah.
tired of sort of asking the questions, what are these people doing? And then I kind of thought, hey, man, but what am I doing to help? My profession
Mm.
has kind of put me in places where I know a lot of people in the golf industry, and I could
Mm-hmm.
use sort of my influence to try and help grow the game in some way. So there's a friend of mine,
Yeah.
Aaron Russell, used to work for TaylorMade back in the day. So him and I one day were just sitting having a conversation, and I'm like, "Hey, Aaron, I'm actually I want to help out to grow the game, but I don't know how." Then he's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, Mona, like at TaylorMade, we've got like a lot of stock that we don't sell, and we sometimes just don't know what to do with the stuff. So maybe why don't you start something? Then we'll help you and we'll give you stuff. And literally the day after that, I get a call from Renelo Letsolonyane. Renelo is from Meadowlands, you know, and he says to me, Enja, there's a group of guys go Meadowlands, go Zone 3, who've asked me to help them out, Kapolo, they've got this field. But when I was there, they've got golf as well, but they literally have nothing, you know. Can you help?
Yeah.
So you know, like this is so God sent, because literally just I was talking to someone about this thing. So for me, that kind of said, okay, this thing is real. I think start something. And that's essentially how the OG Molefe Foundation was birthed. Then we started helping Rulane Mabasa, Komiro Lense, and his kids there. So getting equipment, helping them, you know, with a bit of coaching, would sometimes take some of the Sunshine Tour professionals to go give lessons there. But also to run these programs kind of needs money, you know. And
true.
and so we started then with like our annual fundraiser at the time. This was back in 2018. We did a golf day called Ebotse, to raise a bit of money and sort of help the kids, because then we could buy them a bit of clothes, we could help pay for their green fees, try get membership for the kids, and stuff like that. Then we I think in 2019 we raised quite a bit of money. We were able to build them a library, because at the time we were also thinking,
Oh, lovely.
even though we're teaching them golf, but like you'd know, like the chances of a kid turning pro are like so small. So let's not give the kids like false hope, but let's also try and aid them, maybe even with a better education. So we reached out to the Gauteng Department of Education. They helped us out with some tutors. So over the weekend, the extra lesson in Yana. Then COVID hit. So when COVID hit, like a lot of our stuff just went pear-shaped, man. Like the one good thing was that at least the kids had a space where they could go and still do some sort of work at the online classes, you know, so that space sort of helped. But the golf kind of went down a little bit. But we continued to do the golf day in Yana and raise money. And over the years, we've had sponsors that have come on board to help us out. And now we've also branched out to sort of find kids who are very talented, especially those at the junior level. So say, give or take, kids between 14 to like 18 years old who can actually play, that we don't necessarily need to first teach them how to play, but they just don't have the resources to compete in golf RSA events across the country, because now there's costs that come into play. So traveling, flights, a rental car when they get there, or Uber, to pay for a caddy, to pay for tournament fees, to get food and all of that stuff. So now we're helping a few amateurs with that, and we're seeing a bit of success, because what that does, it alleviates the problems of them having to worry about those things, and all they must worry about is sort of just playing golf. So and we're just trying to grow the game in that way, to try and help those kids who are talented and get to a point where they can compete on an equal footing with privileged kids. So now what we'll do as well, we're working with Theo Bezedino, who's a mental coach. I told you about the pros having teams. So we're kind of building a team of our own, even though we don't make the kids change. So if you come kona or mana mutoso genang kuchang, we'll be like, that's fine. If you're happy there, stay there. If you need us to supplement in terms of paying him for the services or her for the services, we'll do that. We'll offer you the services that Theo, to say Theo works with a lot of DP World Tour players, Sunshine Tour players. So from a golf mentor perspective, he's really clued up, so you can work with him. If you need, we're just working now on a possible deal with Planet Fitness, where if they do then need access to a gym, once we've found them a trainer that can give them a program, we're working on a deal with Planet Fitness where they can then get there and train for free type of thing. So we're trying to put those things into place just to help the kids on their journey to becoming pro, but also not to, you know, because it's really tough. I mean, I see kids who can sort of play, quickly turn pro and they get to the pro level and they realize, hey, it's a different kettle of fish there. Hey, diabuwara. And they struggle and decide, hey, diabuwara. Hey, it's tough. So we want to get them prepared and ready for a tour life, or like it can be as easy as possible. But if we get those who think, hey, maybe I do need school and let me go study a PGA qualification while I still play and see where I end up, that we may be able to help them in that. So the foundation has changed a lot over the past 7 years, but essentially, like in a nutshell, we just want to continue to grow the game, and especially for like black kids, the kids kokasi, kids even those that don't necessarily live kokasi, but they just don't have the equal opportunities that their counterparts have.
No, 100%. OG, I have to say something. As you're speaking, I don't know what I'm feeling, but whatever it is I'm feeling, I think it's just to say thank you for what you're doing. And I believe our audience shares the same sentiments. But one question I want to ask you: when do you sleep?
Hey, my brother, yo, hey, Tony. Hey, that's a tough one, man. And that's the hard part, is that already, man,
OG?
like it's a hard one, because already, like, on tour, I mean, for now, let me say, for now, for instance, I've been on a stretch of 6 straight weeks. This week, our tournament got cancelled because it got rained out. So it means I've got a couple extra days at least to see my own kids, take them to school for a change, and just be home, which has really been great. But it's hard to find time to sleep, because I'll go to work, because I still have to provide for my kids. So I've got a job that I need to do, And then you get off the job and then you find, hey, I've got emails now to deal with the foundation, because now there's kids that need to go somewhere. There's stuff we need to pay for. There's proposals that we need to submit. There's golf days to plan. And now, 2 years ago, we started doing one in Cape Town, and it's kind of growing. And then people are like, why don't you come do one in
Lovely.
Durban? So this year we're going to Durban as well. But that just adds to the load of the work that then I have to do. So, I think
Sleep
there's
is
a
the cousin
point
of
where,
death.
hey man, there's a point last year, I think I was just like depleted. My energy was just down. Like, and I said to someone, I'm like, hey Joe, you know what? I think I'm ready to stop like this foundation stuff, because I just don't have the time. I don't have the energy. And I was ready to literally throw in the towel. But I woke up the next day, we got same thing. Like, if I don't do it, like, who's gonna do it, And there's so much work that needs to be done. I'm hoping one day, Joe, somebody got a blesser. Can you get enough that I can build a team where I don't necessarily have to be too hands-on for stuff to happen. But until we get to that point, Joe, I sleep shame. It's non-existent for the most part.
No, but speaking of blessing, OG, I don't know how can people actually reach out to the OG foundation?
The easiest way is possibly social media. Otherwise, you can drop us an email, go og@ogmolefe foundation.org. It's probably the easiest way to reach out to us. And when you give me that platform, let me say, sometimes it's great. People want to help, ne? Mara motho hey, I'd like to help. Okay, and then they're like, anything. When you say that, like you're not really helping us out, But Tony, if you come to me over, hey, Prayaka, I run a marketing agency. Can I do your marketing for your thing? I can then say, now we've got a starting point. Or hey, Prayaka, we go spanning CSI. We've got a CSI budget. So can I help you out? Go get that. Then Rabu. But how can I help? Like, I don't know where to place you. I don't know what to do with you. I appreciate Korbat Tusa, but what is it that you can
Mm.
really offer and help us out with? So if you do have something waiting for Joe, me na
No.
for instance, like Keshapoka Text, there's a guy now who helps us out. Desmond and Marion help us out with our
100%.
taxes and our books to make sure we are compliant and but those guys take care of that stuff and it's great. Now that's one less
Mm.
headache for me to think about. Double. Even Alimoto relaying, for instance,
100%.
travel and tourism and like, hey Joe, I'm in this sector, this is what I can help you. Then we'll be like, oh man, that will be
Mm.
dope. Then you can take care of that for us. So we're always looking for
Yeah.
help. Financial help, obviously, like plugging the gaps, especially where we then or sometimes have to pay for getting shoes, getting apparel, getting balls. I mean, the golf ball
Yeah.
like we're fortunate sometimes. People
Mm.
like Tight Listed that help us out here and there.
Yeah.
But essentially, like I said, like we need the help. But if it's focused and you know what you want to help us out with, that would actually help us more than just
No.
fella or
100,
I'd like to offer
100%
myself.
empathy. Yeah. OG, it's so lovely chatting to you. I wish we had more time, but we have unfortunately reached the end of our session. But I believe in future we will be chatting more because there's a lot more that I believe everyone out there can actually take from what you're saying, and there's more people who I believe can actually help you improve what you're trying to build, especially when it comes to the OG Molefe Foundation to help build society. So, with that being said, OG, I'm certainly going to say that we need to wrap up and sure and leave you. My smile just went down when I noticed the time, and I don't like it. But I just want to say a huge thank you for sharing everything that you've shared today and for actually expressing yourself in a way that people can actually understand. When you say, this is what I do, people don't have to ask questions elsewhere. They will understand and they will put themselves in your shoes to say, OG is not just a golfer, he's a family man. I don't even want to say a family man. He's a father to the nation, if I could, because of what you are actually doing in society as a whole. So a big thank you to you for that. And I hope our audience is listening. I hope someone out there has paid attention and someone will reach out and say to you, OG, this is what I do. I would like to help you and I would like us to build your vision and put it into life.
Tony, turn to you and everyone balls and tees. I really appreciate the platform, and I really love what you guys are doing. I think like golf is so great, man. It's offered me like so many wonderful opportunities, and I always
Mm,
love to see people growing in the sports in different spheres and platforms. Whether Kilo Naka
mhm,
podcast, whether it's a guy like songs coaching kids. Whether
mm,
it's the guys that are actually playing and make it on tour, whether it's media
yes.
side, like for us to continue to grow this game, like needs all of us to come together. But I got Ocho, unfortunately,
Mhm,
Marco Resile for now. Time flies when you're having fun. So it was dope. I'm
mhm.
definitely keen to link up some other time. Cause hey, golf woman and got like I the whole day to be honest. So uh, thanks for the opportunity and I really appreciate it. And Lilona, like I wish you guys a lot of success, go balls and tees.
Thank you so much, sir. And you must have yourself a blessed evening. Thank you to your loved ones for affording us this time to have a chat with you. And all the best with everything that you do. I am looking forward to seeing bigger and greater things from you, sir. And I want to be a part of that evolution as well.
We receive. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you. You must have a great night, sir.
Cheers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So there you have it. That was the one and only OG Molefe. And listen, guys, I always preach one thing: golfers have beautiful hearts. Golfers are loving. If you walk into a golf course and you find angry faces, then you probably walked into the wrong place. But I can reassure you, 99% of the time, whenever you walk into a golf course, you will see a smile on the people's faces. faces, regardless what kind of a round that they had. And you can hear it from OG when he speaks. So much enthusiasm. The man is passionate about the sport. The man wants to make sure that our own African brothers and sisters are exposed to the sport and they learn all the lessons that he himself has learned through the sport. And over and above that, like he said, he wants to make sure that they get the right education. So, ladies and gentlemen, whoever is listening out there, please, please reach out to OG Molefe if you have something that you can help with. If you don't know how to contact him, you can always contact Balls and Tees. We will definitely connect you with Mr. Molefe. But for the most, I want to say a huge thank you. I can't even stop saying thank you to OG because what he explained about the foundation is phenomenal. It's incredible. And we need more and more and more people who can actually do what he does. And yep, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, don't quote me on this, but the weekend has officially started. Those who are going to work tomorrow, please go there wholeheartedly, do what you have to do. But if you're working on Friday, then you need to make contact with Tony Tone because Friday is part of the weekend, and I will never ever compromise that one. I will help you restructure everything to make sure that on Fridays you are out on the golf course doing what you love with your loved ones. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the magician is signing out. I will see you next week. I love you guys and all the best.